Welcome back to Roommate Confessions. Today we have a very special guest, someone near and dear to my heart, Dylan Mahaney. Did I say that last name right? Mahaney?
Girl, you completely butchered that. Mahaney.
Mahaney. And Dylan and I have a very close relationship, and of course I just butchered it. Mahaney, excuse me. Dylan, yeah. Mr. Mahaney, where are you from? Tell us a little bit about yourself. What brings you here today?
So I'm in Canada. I'm in Toronto right now. I've lived here for about a year and a half. I'm originally from the East Coast, so from the country. But yeah, I'm also representing Banff, Banff, Alberta today. So full on Canadian. Maybe I'll sing some Sarah McLachlan or Alanis Morissette later on. So
I would love that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll keep it going.
I love it. Awesome. And obviously today, when we were talking, you were like, oh, I need to be on that podcast because I was a shitty roommate. And I just nearly died when he told me. I was like, oh my God, you're coming on the podcast ASAP. So
yeah, she's been hyping you up, so I'm excited to hear some of these stories. This is going to be good.
No pressure. So awesome. So when did you move out on your own? How long have you been living with roommates?
I've retired from roommates.
Amazing.
Thankfully. However, I moved out when I was 18.
Nice.
So, yeah, when I was 18, I graduated high school. I moved to the big city of Moncton, New Brunswick, which is like 150,000 people. So there's like really nobody there. And my first roommate was actually a friend of my mother's. So it was a nice transition because I went from my actual parent to like, you know, somebody who was a chosen parent, if you will. So that was nice. When I was finishing up college, though, that's when I got like my first actual roommate. So somebody who was in the same course as me. We got a nice apartment together, really great apartment. And I have this thing too. Every time I drive by the apartment, it doesn't matter who I'm with. Every single time we drive by the apartment, I always point and say, I used to live there.
Of course. Who doesn't do that?
I actually do that because I used to build elevators. And every time I drive by the places I've built elevators, I built that elevator.
But I do it obnoxiously to the point where and I will do it every single time. So like, if we've driven by there already, you already know
that you've been
there. Coming.
We know.
Yeah, we get it. Yeah. Wait, did you live there or? Yeah, got it.
Isn't this the place you live?
I live that one right there, apartment number 4. I always point to it. And I only lived there for 6 months. Like it wasn't this impactful thing.
Not even a big period in your life.
No. And I wasn't even there like half the time, but it's so important to me that I obnoxiously point out that I lived in that apartment.
Yeah.
Right. Well, just right there.
Everybody has a story, and in those stories, there's chapters. Those chapters, you know, they entail part of what you experience. And in that regard, regarding roommates and regarding living experiences, it's good to state like, that was a chapter of my life, and that's where I lived.
6 months, small chapter.
It has literally no significance in my life, but it's the created significance that holds a memory to that apartment. But yes,
yeah.
So that was like my first real roommate.
And who did you? I mean, tell us about it. Like, who did you live with? What was the experience?
How old was this person?
We were the same age. I think she was a year younger than me.
Great.
And it was, so, I mean, I guess this chapter would hold some significance because this was when I first really started dating. So I had my first boyfriend while I lived there. And I graduated college when I lived there. So I guess like that 6 months, quite a bit happened. Oh my God, I worked on the largest grossing tour of all time while I lived there as well. I worked on the U2 360 tour.
Oh,
No
wow.
way.
Now, some would argue that Ed Sheeran has the largest grossing tour of all time, but if you add in inflation, the U2 360 tour is still, Steve, I can see your face and you're like, oh my God, this guy is really cool. I decorated the VIP tent. So it's
Well, hey,
like
my mom and dad are both immigrants from Ireland, and my dad's two favorite bands are the Rolling Stones and U2. So grew up listening to every song. You can imagine I'm definitely a fan.
So both U2 and the Rolling Stones played a concert in Moncton, New Brunswick, and Moncton, it really is quite a small city in a small province. There's less than 1 million people that live in the entire province, which is a province is the equivalent to a state. Yeah, they both played in Moncton, and for the U2 show, this was the last stop on their 360 tour. So it was really, I was 21 at the time, and it was that memory is still something that I hold on today, because I was a part of something that was so much bigger than who I am, and it was
It's legendary.
that I got some of that U2 money.
That's great.
Hey,
yeah,
I love that.
And to be at the show where it's the grand finale, the hoorah at the end, I'm sure that was special.
I never watched the show. I'm not a fan.
Well, as much as I would love to just sit here and listen to your guys' dinner conversations, let's give the listeners the goods. Give us some juicy roommate horror stories. What happened? Because we know you have them.
Yeah, so this particular roommate, this was a little fun. Very, very small, petite. However, I would lodge complaint. So I am the Karen of roommates. Like when it comes to my living space, I don't want you there.
But just to pay.
Correct.
Love it.
In addition, if you make any type of noise, such as walking or sneezing or even lightly closing a door, you're going to hear about it. So
Oh, God.
I really was a terrible roommate. This particular roommate, she, as tiny as she was, I didn't understand how she made so much noise when she would walk. So that was always an issue. She would also invite her family over because they were out of town. So they would come over and visit whenever they were close by. That bothered me a lot, seeing her parents come into the home. It just really interrupted my feng shui, if you will, having
The Karen,
two
ladies
extra
and gentlemen.
people.
The Karen.
full on. My favorite memory with her, she went on a whale watching trip with her family that was about a week and a half. And I didn't buy any food the entire time because I just ate all of her reserves.
Her reserves. And like
Yeah,
whale watching, so Canada. A whale watching trip.
She went whale watching. This, really big experience with her family, nice bonding time. And I stayed home. I loved it. I binged watched Weeds, one of my favorite shows, and I literally ate all of the food that she had left. And I knew that when she came back, she would have had this really beautiful experience. That the last thing on her mind is, where's the ramen noodles that I had? So I saved my cash and I just ate her food.
And then
You'll
did you
notice
replace
this
it?
is absolutely not.
Were you ever confronted about
This
it?
is no, because you just got back from a whale watching
Yeah.
experience. You're not gonna, hey, where's all? So the thing during my career as a roommate, this would be the most common thing that I've done is steal food.
You would steal food. It was a common thing for you.
Yep, I would steal food. I would never address it. I would also never replace it.
I am starting to get the sense, and I think the listeners probably are too, that you're the roommate horror story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, the Karen of roommates.
The Karen of roommates.
I'm difficult to live with. I mean, roommates, they become friends and they spend time together. The interesting thing when you live with me is I actually decide what we watch every time. So anytime we're going to have, TV time, it's going to be what I watch. If there's music playing, it's always going to be what I want. So that's super fun. So you never have to worry when you live with me. You never have to worry about, let me go on and see what's on Netflix. No, it's always going to be what I want. And spoiler alert, it's The Office. And when it comes to music, you never have to worry about, okay, let me try and find something. Maybe he'll like something. No, I've already chosen the music. Spoiler alert,
you too.
It's Tony Braxton. Yeah, it's U2 and the Rolling Stones. Exactly.
Oh my God, Tony Braxton. Favorite song?
Favorite song by Tony Braxton, Let It Flow.
Could you sing that for me? Just a section of that? I kind of forget how it goes.
So no. The last time I sang for an audience, they bought tickets, but that's fine. So Let It Flow. It's on the Secrets album, which is the one that has Unbreak My Heart and Making Me High.
I love it.
Nice.
It's often forgotten. But it's a bop. I'll send it to you.
You'll send it to me? Oh God, I think Steven. Oh, here it goes. Look at him just shake his head.
Yeah. It's a great song.
Little background jams.
I'm gonna add this to Let's Just Chill.
Let's just
So
chill
this song
playlist.
was written by her ex-husband wrote that song.
Really?
Nice.
Interesting. You're full of random facts. I love it. All right. Well, give us your worst, either memory of a roommate that you had or you just being the biggest Karen of all time.
So this is I'm gonna give you the most dramatic and longest played out fight that I've ever had with somebody that I've lived with. While I was living in this first apartment, I had made friends with somebody who was also going to the same school. She was in a different course though. And she lived a little bit out of the city. So I would go and spend the weekend at her house, sometimes a weeknight. But I would do my laundry at her house because we had to pay to do our laundry. And when I was at her place, I was doing laundry. I used her car, got back, all of that stuff. Like, we're good. Fast forward to another roommate. And then I ended up moving in with my friend and her wife. She listed the house. So they listed the house. It was for sale. She was in cleaning the room. And I noticed that she had switched out my laundry basket. And the laundry basket, this is like the perfect basket of all time because it's the right size for a washing machine. So it's full, it's time to do a load of laundry. It's perfect. It's really sturdy, very comfortable to bring around the house. It was great.
I like that idea.
So I noticed that she switched out my laundry basket for a wicker basket. So I said, hey, where's my basket? She said, so this is what she said. She said, oh, the plastic basket is mine. I gave that to you when I was doing your laundry, and the wicker basket is yours. And I said, no, I brought the plastic basket when I moved in. She said, no, you didn't. I said, yes, I got it when I lived on that place where I drive by every time and I say I lived there. And she's like, no, I gave it to you. So we fought literally for 3 or 4 years about this.
Stop. So Karen is also petty. Roommate Karen is also petty.
I am talking big blow up. Her wife is like, just give him the basket. It's a basket. And she kept going on. It's the principal. He took the basket. I put the basket when the house was for sale. We ended up moving. When I moved out, I brought the basket with me. Amazing basket. Terrible footstool though. It was not, so that's how that I would still have it with me if I didn't try and, stand up on it. But
the thing I'm thinking about, as you're telling the story,
because she had a similar set. So she thought that she was just kind of throwing laundry in, had the basket in my room, and then she's like, oh no, this basket is his. And then she took that basket. I brought the basket with me when I moved in.
Oh, Lord.
So cut to 5 years later. I sit her down and I say, there's something we need to talk about. And I rehash the basket incident. And we had decided that we were just going to, we're going to agree to disagree.
Right.
Yeah.
Because her whole thing was about the principal. It really wasn't about the basket. For me, it was both the basket and the principle of it, because you're telling me that I'm a liar. So I sat her down and I finally said, the basket was brought with me when I moved in. The basket came from your home to my apartment first, though.
Interesting.
So the idea, her thought was she gave me the basket when she was doing my laundry and we were listing the house, but I stole the basket about 8 months prior to that.
The plot thickens.
So what is
she
the
was
determining?
wrong.
So she was wrong, but you're still a thief?
So here's how I sleep at night. I sleep at night because the argument wasn't about her owning the basket. The argument was about her giving me the basket after I had moved in, which is false. I had stolen the basket about 8 months prior to me moving in.
Oh, you officially are the biggest Karen I've ever met. I'm going to send an award in the mail.
Yeah, that takes a lot of energy to just devote to that and commit it to it for 3 years, nevertheless 5.
That
That's commitment,
basket
people.
lasted a really long time. I brought that basket when I moved in with my first boyfriend. Brought that basket when I moved provinces. I'm telling you, the basket was so good that it was worth the deception. It was worth the manipulation. It was worth the loss of a friend. What really destroys me is that the basket could not withhold the weight of a human man. That's really
the emphasis, Pete. That's the takeaway.
But I do like the concept, the fact that once it's filled, that's the exact dimensions of what would go into,
Classic.
a washing machine. I think that's great. I wonder if mine does that.
I miss the basket. I do not miss the friendship.
And
that's
if you're
how
listening
good
out
the
here,
basket.
and if you're listening tonight, Kelly Jane, he doesn't miss your friendship. Kelly Jane.
It's a really good basket.
Roommate Confessions is sponsored by Chillo. The app helped design to help you find a roommate that you don't want to kill. So whether you're looking for a place to live or a new roommate, you can download the Chillo app on the iOS or Android Play Store. God, I wish we had this when we were younger, right? We talk about this in every episode. I would, at least in this one, my thoughts go, if I had Chillo to avoid a Karen like Dylan. No offense. Right? Like what I can't even imagine. There's been so many different horror stories that we have experienced over the years. Yeah. I mean, it's horrific.
I think it's interesting too, the way you bring that up. Like you wish you had it back then. And what's really wild is as we've adapted to different things that we were so accustomed to and just take for granted these days, one given time or another, Chillo might be such a great resource for people that they resort to it. And then they figured it as their norm.
Yeah.
And they don't realize what so many people could have avoided,
yeah.
Based on finding someone good to live with.
Yeah, no more Craigslist, right? Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace for a roommate. Like, hello, goodbye.
I heard a stat that every day on Craigslist, there are 75,000 posts just within the housing department alone, and 25% of those 70,000 daily are fraud.
Like, I'm good.
Yeah, so you never know, but be careful, folks.
Yeah, unreal. All right, so as we always have, we had a call in from a roommate horror story, and so we'll go ahead and play it. and see what they have to say.
My freshman year of college, I lived in Chaffee Hall at Boise State University, and it was fun. I had a really good roommate, but we shared a bathroom with 2 other guys in the hall, and one of the other guys, who I'm going to remain nameless, is a little bit of a mess. He would come in and be piss drunk all the time, and he would always get in fights and roll in with a new black guy or something terrible, and he, on a few occasions, happened to piss in my room, like on the carpet.
No, oh my God.
On my desk.
On his
That
desk?
he has no recollection of.
Probably multiple times.
So I decided to move out at the end of the semester. I moved in with a very cute young man named Colby Martin. But
Who shall
that
remain
first
nameless?
semester at Boise State was a wild time. But yeah, that's my roommate story.
You know that.
Ew.
You know what I started thinking is, when they say you break the seal, you start drinking, you break the seal, and you just got to pee every 5 minutes. Imagine someone coming into your room and pissing on your desk.
Desk.
Jesus.
That's disgusting.
It's it's an interesting concept for switching up the old excuse of the dog ate my homework.
Yeah,
Professor, John pissed on my homework. It was a full essay. I swear it was right there.
it was right here. Here, if you want it. Ew, sick. Ew.
See, this is here's the thing. My cats have never pissed in my bed.
Let alone like on your stuff, on your desk, on his bed. And why is he going into his room to pee?
Well, I did.
Dorms. So it's one big room.
I've never been drunk, so I don't know.
Oh.
However, I've seen a lot of drunk people.
Oh yeah.
And I do recall a story about a man who is very important to me and walked into a closet to relieve himself,
Oh my
thinking
God,
that it was the
yes.
bathroom.
Yes.
So and this was I believe this was before I was born. So I am familiar with people going to relieve themselves and mistaking a room for
Yes.
perhaps a lavatory.
Wait, I do too, actually, because I grew up with this guy in high school who will remain nameless. However, you played football with him.
Okay.
And we would always party at this one brother's house, right? Like the dad was super laid back, didn't care. And we would always party there. There was people coming in and out of there like it was a fucking frat house. Like it was crazy.
Yep.
And we were in high school at the time. And this one gentleman, who again, we will remain nameless, always thought the bathroom was different places. Closets, pantries. One time, oh, you freaked me out. One time, he literally walked from outside, walked in through the backyard, and was so drunk he thought he was outside pissing on a tree and peed on the mom's faux corner plant. And was just, and turns around, he's like, what? Well, he's just straight, all over the wall. I have seen this guy probably pee in not a restroom at least 6 times throughout high school. Personally. So I guess, yeah.
Must be a thing.
And
similar to the gentleman that you had referenced, they have both since procreated.
his knight in shining nightingale.
Gotta give a little bit of a roast now and then.
Oh my God, I love it. Wait, that is too funny. Okay, so let's ask the Karen roommate in the room. Dylan, what would you do if you were sleeping and you woke up to find your roommate at the time walking into your bedroom and start peeing all over your desk?
So this is a different scenario because this is a dorm.
So it makes it
So
better?
it gives you a better opportunity to Karen out, and I'll tell you why. if you have the roommate, you have a lease together. So then I have to go to you directly as the peer, because you're the peer. So I got to go to you directly and be like, listen, as the PE, I am done with you.
As the
and
PE.
then we'd have to, as the PE, I'd have to figure out a way legally and with
Right.
leases and all of that stuff. With a dorm, though,
You got to deal with RAs.
I would go right to the dean.
To the dean.
I would bag up my pissy documents and I would put it on his desk and be like, I need you to go through these because there's something fishy around here. This is
every Karen's dream.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's like a dream stream.
With no pun intended.
Like this honestly would be a fun exercise to go through, because emotion, oh my goodness, you could get like a psychologist involved, the emotional damage. Like I would own, the school would be named after me. If this gift was given to me, the school would be named after me. I would become the new dean. There would be a whole wing. I would have my honorable doctorate. Like this would be a complete dream if it happened again. If it happened, like, you're just buddies, you have a room to together. You can't really do that.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But a dorm with an organization,
it's the gift that keeps
beautiful.
on giving. Beautiful. I love when you said, I thought he was going to say, I would
already
go
knows.
to the RA. You're like, I would go to the dean with a bag full of piss documents as the victim, as the PE victim.
Mm-hmm.
I love how you also just took it to a whole new level and said you would just immediately need psychological help, and immediately.
I would. Are you like? Here's the thing. My flight is late by 5 minutes. You're buying me an entire hotel. So like, yes, I'm getting my money's worth. Like this would become my full-time job, making sure that I get compensated. Like this would be like, you think Johnny Depp and Amber Heard is the trial of the century? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
The dorm room peer.
Like. Yeah,
Guilty.
like pissy desk trial. Like you're gonna have Anderson Cooper live outside the courtroom.
This
like
just
Dylan
in.
the pissy desk. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Do you mind giving back your phone? Because I have another caller. I think
Oh
that
yeah, we got
called
another one.
in.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Wait, this is too much. I am officially dead. This is too much.
The piss happened twice.
Oh,
Yeah.
that he even shares.
That he mentions.
That
Yeah.
he mentions.
On his bed and then his
The
desk.
desk.
And he said after some time I had to move out.
That would be.
So it's happened multiple times.
I feel like most.
He allowed it.
That guy must have a lot of patience, because I feel like
Yeah.
once the guy might get a little bit.
You
obviously,
almost could laugh once. Like, you'd be like, what the fuck? What are you
dude,
doing,
you were
dude?
a wreck last night. Second time, maybe you get pushed on the floor. Third time, I'm
time-
surprised you didn't get punched in the face.
Yeah. Lose your shit. Your Honor, arrest this man.
And
That's a friend you could take the piss out of.
there you go. That's a good one. I love it.
I love it. I love it. Boom, boom. Okay. We have one more caller from today that called in with their roommate horror stories. So let's go ahead and give it a go.
So my roommate and I go to school at WSU, so in Pullman. And one night we were meeting up with these friends. We've never met them before. And so I drove to her apartment and we started pre-gaming there.
Of course.
And we were all taking shots and stuff. My roommate ended up taking 10 shots in 1 hour.
Jesus.
And it was not
Probably
good.
95 pounds.
So we were all starting to walk up the hill to the frats, and she was stumbling and stuff.
Elevation.
And we were like, I don't know if we should go to the frats or not. And so we got up to we were right to that first sorority house, and she just laid on the concrete and couldn't move.
Yeah, no shit.
Or she
Well, the
couldn't,
alcohol
but it was
poisoning.
hard for her. and it was me, her, and then the one girl we had just met. So these sorority girls came out of their house, and they were like, "Are you guys okay?" And me and this girl, the girl I just met, was like, "No, she's not okay. Like, can you help us out?" And so they brought us into the sorority house, and we were sitting on the couch, and we got her on the inside, and sitting on the couch, and we gave her water and some food, and she just like fell asleep and just passed out. And we're all just sitting there talking, and she starts puking, and it's all getting all over. And if you've ever been to a sorority house, you know they're really nice, and it's like getting on the couches and everything, like really nice couches. So we got her up onto the ground, and we just put her head in a bucket, and we took off the couch cushion cover, and I was like, "You guys have to put this in the washing machine because it's obviously puke everywhere. Gross." And then, so there was one girl at the sorority that was sober, and she was like, "I can take her home." And I was like, "Thank you. I really need help." And so one of the other girls that was in the group came back to the sorority house to help. And it was me and then the two girls we had just met carrying her. Like, she's, like, she had her head and we had her feet. And we're carrying her out of the house. And we got on the front porch and, like, she started puking again. Oh, God. And then we got her onto the sidewalk, just laying on the ground. And everyone's just kind of standing around. People are walking by asking if she's okay.
Like, no, she ain't okay.
Don't worry about it. You know, like, leave us alone because this is embarrassing. And then one of the girls was like, we should call 911 because she's not okay. And at this point, she was not responsive at all. And I'm just sitting here freaking out because, like, I've never had experienced this before. And so then they call 911. And before they got there, we had gotten her set up and everything, and she's like just answering the questions completely wrong.
What's your name?
Like,
what's
all
your
the questions
birthday?
we were asking her, like what day it is, and what major she is. And then the paramedics got there, and they like sit her up and stuff, and they're just being completely just rude. They're just being rude. This one guy is, and he was just like being mean to me, telling it's me like my fault that this is happening. And I'm like, it's not my fault. She's responsible for herself.
Guilty by association.
And so they're like, just take her home. I was like, okay. And then the paramedics left and said she was fine, which she wasn't, but whatever. And then one of the sorority girls was like, you need to backpack her. And I was like, what is that? Because, again, this is new to me. And so I got her... So we got her in the car, and they explained what backpacking was. And then...
Do you know what that is?
Give her back, and, well...
You wear the person like a backpack.
Sober. And then they helped me carry her into the apartment, and I put a backpack on her and just stuffed it with all the books that we had. I buckled her into the backpack, and so we got back, and this all happened in, like, 2 hours. So she took 10 shots. Next hour, we were back home. And so she did not remember anything the next day.
Wait.
And I did not sleep. I had both our doors open so I could hear her breathing.
Keep going.
And then I was like telling her the story and everything, and she like couldn't remember. And she's like, "Oh my God, that's so bad." And I was like, "Girl, it gets worse. We had to call 911." So yeah. Anyways, that's my roommate story, and she's good now, and we're past it.
Wait, what is backpacking? But like we've all been wasted. I mean, minus Karen. And like all of a sudden she's like, yeah, and then it got really, really bad. It just started going like the snowball. It just started going so fast downhill. It's like a horror movie or like a really bad, like, what is it? It's just like a really bad fight with like your couple friends that always fight that are like together, and you're just like, ooh, this is really bad, but like I can't stop watching. This is epic. It's
also funny that, you know, she purposely mentions that like as they're trying to get down the street, random individuals are just, like, is she okay? Clearly not.
No, she's not. What gave it away? What about this situation gave it away?
Tell us your thoughts.
So here's the thing. Nothing is stronger than a drunk college girl, right? Like they have stamina. They can really, they can hold themselves together.
Yeah.
Just
It's
when
like
you
a
think
mom.
that,
It's like a mom when this baby's about to get hit by the car's on the baby, and the mom
Superhuman
just
strength.
it's like say college girl with
Yeah.
Tito's.
Yeah. Now, I mentioned I've never been drunk. I was in Mexico at the beginning of the year, and I did 4 tequila shots in one day. Didn't throw up. It was also spread out over the day. So I can't imagine what 10 shots of any alcohol would do to somebody in an hour.
In an hour.
Yeah, it flips your world upside
And
down.
you know, she was probably chasing with like a Smirnoff Ice or something. Like, you don't just do shots when you're pre-gaming.
Yeah, and you're right. A lot of times
Wait,
those
yes?
sugary.
No, of course not.
No, a lot of times those sugary drinks is what get people wasted even more.
Yeah.
So if it's not a Smirnoff Ice, maybe it's a cranberry juice
or like those Mike's Hard Lemonades or something that just
Oh,
kick your
God,
ass.
4 Locos.
Oh,
Yeah.
if that's not
That's a brilliant idea.
college, I don't know what is. But the
But
backpack.
so what stood out to me though was we left her, is what she said. We left her on the porch, but then she kept throwing up. So then we brought her on the sidewalk.
like
that's better.
yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Ew.
Here you go, pal. This is much better.
Yeah. So we put her in the street with moving traffic. Like, it doesn't get much. They were just like, time to get out. Okay. So what would you rather, both of you? Who would you rather deal with? Mr. Pister or Piss Face Drunk?
I'd take the girl who puked everywhere.
Put her
Especially
in
if
that
she's
backpack.
small enough to carry on her back. That's way better than being woken up by somebody who's pissing in your bed or on your desk. How about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would rather, because I've been in that situation before, right? Like I've taken
Yeah.
care, being the sober person in the room.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's always taking care of people. Like, I remember when I was in high school, one of my friends we're at a party, she is naked in the bathtub. Why?
Why?
It's not your
Girl,
house.
why?
It's not your house. Like, you don't even know these people. You're naked in the bathtub. And
Oh,
like,
God.
it just because I'm drunk, so I'm going to sober up in the tub. Like,
No.
so I've been the person to always take care. So I feel like if somebody is too drunk, because that's the thing. Sometimes people are a lot of the times people are unpredictable when they're drunk, and I would rather be in a state of full control than partial control, because the pisser, he's drunk enough, or he's sober enough rather, that he is able to walk and relieve himself and know that he's relieving himself. He doesn't know where he's relieving himself, but he knows that he's doing it. If somebody agitated him, you don't have control. At least with the girl who's half dead, you have full control. All she's doing is throwing up. Tape a bag to her face. Like, she'll be fine. It's like I'd much rather deal with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Kelsey,
Yeah.
I'm surprised that when
Kelsey, she sounds
Sorry.
like a Kelsey.
Kelsey, there you
think-
go.
She sounds like a Kelsey. I
Sounds
like
like
that.
that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
One thing I picked up on, like you had mentioned from the difference of the porch and the.
Whenever I'm in that situation where somebody is throwing up because they're drunk, I purposefully dehydrate them. Get everything out.
Right.
You really have to get everything out, because anything that you put in is
It's
coming up anyway.
It's coming out, honey.
So
Good point.
you can have a teaspoon of water to just keep you alive, and that's all you're getting until tomorrow morning. So the fact that they fed her, I understand the logic. Like, let's give her some bread, she'll sober up. Not 10 shots in. Like, nobody's sobering up after 10 shots.
No, your liver is overdose at that point.
Wait, but what about this part? Did anybody else catch that the paramedics, she was answering, they were like, what's your major? She answered it wrong. They asked her what her birthday was. She answered it wrong. And then the paramedics said, she's good.
I didn't catch on that she was answering it wrong, but I did catch on what paramedic asks, what's your major? It's usually
They were asking the major.
Yeah, but
So the college girls were asking the majors, and then when she didn't answer right, that's when they called.
gotcha.
Of course, you're thinking like you need to get her to the hospital. here's the thing. Imagine going to school and you learn CPR and you learn how to tape up wounds and put shoulders back into
Yeah.
place.
Pull
Like,
people
you
out of
are
burning
going to be
vehicles.
Bullet victims, yeah, shooting victims, all that, yeah.
If I get a call, it's in the middle of the night. Okay, so all I want to do is play Wordle in my van, you know, in the ambulance.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to play Wordle until there's excitement.
Right.
Right. I got my partner napping in the seat next to me, and I'm over here playing Wordle or whatever people
Yeah.
do on their phones while they're waiting for people to have their lives saved by you. Imagine, you know, I got to put Wordle away, and I have to go talk to Kelsey. I would be pissed too if I was the paramedic.
I would.
I would give you all the attitude. She's not dying.
Yeah.
She just needs to throw it up.
Yeah.
Valid point.
Girl, bye.
Kelsey thought she was going to throw it back. Now she's throwing it up. Like, don't interrupt my Wordle.
I think the moral of the story is don't interrupt Karen's Myrtle on his lunch break in his ambulance.
Is it Wordle or Myrtle?
I think it's Myrtle.
Yeah, it's Wordle. Yeah, you
Myrtle.
said Myrtle.
TikTok is Dylan G Mahaney, Mahaney. Do not mistake me for Dylan Mahoney with 2 Y's, who is an Australian content creator. And do not mistake me for Dylan Mulvaney, who is a content creator based out of New York. Dylan Mahaney is the one that you want.
Okay, so I'm going to say, all right, everyone, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for Dylan. Dylan, if they are looking for you on social media, where can they find you? And that's when you'll say that. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Roommate Confessions. And go ahead and give our sponsors a follow as well at Chillo App. Amazing.
Well, he did already say it.
And if you have your own roommate horror stories and you want to share them, don't forget to DM us at Roommate Confessions on our Instagram or Facebook. See you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Can I plug a show that I'm doing?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
Oh, catch me June 8th on stage in Stratford, Ontario.
Hey!
Love it. You guys better be there.
Stratford,
Ontario.
Ontario.
Calling you guys out.
Love it.
That's where Justin Bieber's from.
No shit.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be at your show.
Bieber, can you make it?
Bieber, are you
think
listening?
He's doing his own shows right now.
I love it. Amazing.
I think he's on tour. I don't know.
Great having you.
Cool. Thank you very much, Dylan. Appreciate it. It was amazing. Good having you.